always on
Good,
time.
because oh no, I didn't see that. I love it. Okay, welcome. We are live on
Oh,
Facebook. How are you doing, Yulia?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing, Fred?
I'm doing great. I didn't see when I was like putting the video live that you had a hat, and that is so funny because I dreamt about your hat. So that's really funny. I was like, ah, I wish that we had like a hat. Of course, you
Well,
had
it
one.
just happened to be here in the house. It just came
Oh,
to me, right? So
yes.
I didn't go and buy it. I didn't go to buy it. It just came to us, right? Just because you wanted it. So,
Yes, I attracted
oh,
it.
here we are.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about magic. Yeah. So we look it up at the definition, and what the definition that I like of magic was the power of apparently influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. So, of course, we're not going to talk about Houdini or David Copperfield or how to cut a sexy woman in two. It would be interesting, but no, we won't see any bunnies as well. That's not what we're going to do. But it's more like, what if there are tools that we can take right now that can influence the course of our life and play a little bit with like mysterious forces? And there is absolutely nobody else, not a better person to talk about magic than you. Because when I was
I'm
like,
glad.
magic, oh yes, Yulia. Because this is actually like, I remember the first time that we met, before saying hi, you say, dance with me. And I thought it was like fantastic. I didn't know you from absolutely nowhere. And I've got that gorgeous girl to say, like, you dance with me. And after that, I felt that exactly what we did, like for the rest of the friendship. It was just like dancing together and seeing life and having fun. And so that's absolutely perfect for that. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So
My pleasure.
you are like,
We've
yes,
been dancing since then. We never stopped.
we never stop. And so and I really like that about our friendship. So Yulia, you are a poet, a writer, and a human designer guide. I look up at your beautiful website that we will share. And
Thank you.
I love your introduction. It really like resonates with me. And you say, I am a human design guide. I'm here to help you love yourself through discovering your unique genetic code, the shadow, not self, and human design mechanics. This isn't about a quick fix. I invite you on a journey to being authentic. I love it. This is like
Thank you.
so powerful, and I love the way that it put like the person that you're helping in the center of the equation and empowering, and it's you cut a little bit the bullshit and it just go into being
Yes.
authentic, and I think it's so much important in wellness, and that's like a great power that you can give to other people.
Thank you, Fred. I tried. Well, I didn't think too much. I just wrote it and I thought, okay, this is it.
Yeah, keep it. I really like it.
Thank you. That's exactly what I needed to hear.
Oh, and so you're in Whistler right now.
Yes, I'm in Whistler. It's cloudy and I'll show you what we have outside the window. It's very cloudy and kind of dark. And
Ooh.
can you see or not really?
Ah, that's it. We can see. It took
Yes.
time to adjust. Well, you have beautiful trees.
Yeah, just raining and dark, but otherwise it's beautiful.
Oh, that's nice. And like Vancouver, where I am right now, is like there is no summer. I think the magic is the like, yeah, we'll make summer disappear, and it's gonna be voila, and
That's
it's good.
true. I agree. Somebody made dark magic, like black magic or whatever.
I don't
Somebody
know what
made
they did,
summer disappear.
but I feel we're getting robbed of our summer for sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna begin with silly question. I know that you are very familiar with silliness and you enjoy it, so that's great because you're gonna have like some silly question right now. So
Exciting. Yes.
yes, okay, are you ready for it?
Always ready.
Always ready. So what do you love most about yourself? We begin sweet.
Mm, my lips.
Your lips? Yeah, you can draw those lips. Nice.
Can give you a good kiss.
Oh, I'm sure lots of people will be interested. So
Oh,
if
yes.
you if you could do anything for the rest of your life, what would that be?
Dancing with Fred.
Ah, yes, yes. Are you
Dirty,
sure?
dirty dancing.
So who will be the one who will carry the other one? Because if you
Well,
want
I
to do that.
will take turns, but also maybe your cat. I'm hoping he'll be guiding every once in a while when he wakes up and he says, "Oh, what these guys are doing here? I
Oh,
better
yes.
get involved."
I'm sure I can see him just laying down on the floor where we are dancing. He's just nearby on the sofa, just next to us.
Amazing.
Um, yes. If you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where it would be? And you're a big traveler. Well, right now you're a little bit, I will not say stuck because I don't like stuck, but we are all a little bit stuck when we are travelers with the pandemic, but you're a big traveler. So if you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where it would be?
I would go to Provence in France.
Oh, you want to go to my parents' house?
Maybe, possibly. Maybe they will kidnap me or something. I don't know how friendly they are, but sounds
Possible.
like they are very friendly.
My parents are extremely friendly. The problem is you might take 10 kilo in like 1 week because it's all about food and alcohol. So
Oh, well, that will be a challenge because I'm trying not to eat too much and not to drink too much. Only
yes.
essential, just as much as I need, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why Provence?
Oh, because they're lavender fields.
Oh, yes.
And purple is the color of magic, right? So there you go.
Oh, purple is the
Lavender
color
field.
of magic.
Yeah, I always thought so. I don't know why. I think somebody told me, but but it kind of makes sense.
Yes, it kind of makes sense. And the color of the crown too. So yes. Um, what is the most useless talent that you have?
I think I have many. The most
You can
useless.
name a couple, huh?
Well, the one that comes to mind is asking questions. I'm the master of asking random, crazy questions.
Are you kidding? That is not at all useless. You need to find another
Yeah,
one. That
that's
is
true.
so useful. That is so useful.
Yes, that's true. Maybe it's a bad example. Okay, how about I leave some pieces like a mouse. I leave some pieces of food around the kitchen, and my husband always gets shocked, and sometimes he smiles. Well, I think now he always smiles when he finds a little slice of like a tiny piece of chocolate. You know what happened the other day was hilarious because we had like a chocolate, like a real chunk of chocolate left in the package, wrapping package, and then a tiny slice. So what my husband did, he ate the big slice, the big one, the chunk, and he left the tiny one. And I saw it and I said, "Well, you ate the big one. There's nothing left for me now. Why did you eat it? You should have shared some with me." So I was all mad and just giving him a bad time. And he goes, "Well, I left you your little one." Like it's gonna be enough. And it was like a really tiny slice, like a tiny, tiny bit. But yeah,
I
that's the
can,
one. How about
I
you?
can.
What's your talent? What's your useless talent?
Oh, my useless talent. Hmm. I can bend my all my fingers. It is very useless, but
Wow,
nobody really can.
amazing. I cannot do this.
No, I know it's very strange.
It's
And like I remember as a kid, and I was like, "Can you do that?"
Fred, I think you've been cultivating some secret powers from early on.
Oh yes, oh yeah, yeah. From very early on, like definitely. Yes, I was good at. As a kid, I was very playful. On holidays, I needed to be outside of my home, and it's always the case now. I have more power far away from my home, and
Okay.
and I remember that I said to a couple of kids that I could like predict the weather, and yes, well, I was 6 or 7 years old. I say I can predict the weather, and so like I
That's
and
amazing.
they were like a little bit dubious, like maybe
Dubious. I love this
yes.
name.
And I was, and I said, it's gonna be like a calamity tomorrow. And like there was a storm of ladybugs, but a storm. The entire like beach was covered with ladybugs, like all around here. So since then, I'm pretty sure there is like people who think that I have like hidden power. At least two kids, because there were two, who really think that I had hidden power.
Well, cool. That's amazing.
Yes. Um, Next one. What's your biggest screw up this year so far?
My biggest what?
Screw up.
Oh,
Something
my
that
biggest
didn't
club.
this year.
Oh, that's a good question. That's a difficult one.
That's a difficult one, yes.
It's almost like to ask what's the purpose of life?
Yeah, you know you
Oh,
I know one that you did it didn't work at the beginning.
what's that?
The kombucha
Ah, yes, yes. I think I
turned into
screwed
a
up
magical thing, but
one batch. Yes, I did screw up one batch because I was just practicing with the formula. I feel like I'm an alchemist or something now. But yes, I was
true.
practicing and one batch was bad, but I think I figured out what I made wrong. So I put canned pineapple, and that was a mistake. Canned pineapple doesn't my SCOBY, my kombucha didn't like it, and it was terrible. People, but I still gave it to people to taste because maybe I was going crazy, and they said it's okay, but it's not the best. But I think they were trying to be polite, yeah. So because I definitely couldn't drink it, I was like, no, this is not happening.
No, it was not good.
Yeah. No,
And
no.
so you put kombucha all over the your apartment or something, or
Yes,
did
I have so much kombucha now. I don't even know how I'm gonna drink it. But I like experimenting with flavors and I'm very serious about it. Like I'm passionate. So I have so many flavors. I have I have three now, three Sobeys.
wow.
I know it's a lot. Anyway,
That's a lot. That's
I
pretty
can talk
good.
for a long time about kombucha. But let's talk about
Uh,
magic.
yes. Okay. So what motivates you to get up every morning?
Um, the I think nature. I like nature, so I get up and I can't wait to look outside and see the trees and see what's the weather
Wow.
like, to listen to the raindrops or to just welcome the sun.
Yes.
So I like
Oh,
nature.
I really do too.
But many things
Uh,
motivate me to in the morning. So, but this is just one.
okay. Thank you for sharing. And finally, and you're gonna see the extremely nice transition. What's the closest things to real magic that happened to you recently?
Real magic. Well, there are lots of things that happened. Well, so I had to do, we have construction happening upstairs on the roof. The construction workers are removing the roof. And I was supposed to do an interview for a podcast. And so I scheduled the interview for their break time, for their lunch. But you know how construction workers work. You never know. That sometimes maybe they're a bit late for lunch. Anyway, I decided to take my chance and I just scheduled it on their lunch break. And just as if by magic, for the entire duration of our interview, there was not a single sound. Like they didn't throw anything down, nothing happened. And I was fascinated because it was almost surreal. Like it was so, I said, this is amazing. And then as soon as we finished, I think slowly they started to make more noise. And then the next day was absolute hell. Like it was, the entire house was shaking. There
Whoa.
was like five people right on top of my head. And they were, throwing stuff, and I couldn't even stay in. And I thought, so what happened yesterday? I was like, that was just like, I asked the universe, please give me that hour. And we were actually late because we had some technical difficulties, sometimes happen, right? And we spent even more than an hour and it was perfect. So I thought, wow, this is cool, I'm loving it.
Wow, that's pretty nice. I love those kind of moments where you're just like you
I
have to
can never get used
surrender.
to
You
it.
have yeah, absolutely have to surrender. Nothing else that you can do, and you just like okay, let's see what's gonna happen, and you ask for it, and it just works. So let's go into our main subject now that we asked all those silly questions, and
Yes,
thank you for
we're
participating in my
ready.
silliness. Yes. So the inner mechanism of magic. What is magic for you, Yulia?
Okay, so for me, magic is many things, but I don't want to talk for too long. I want to kind of briefly explain that for me, magic is the result of how you are aligned with your unique trajectory in life. Because if you're on your trajectory, on your true path, that things work out. It's just things just click in. Just even take this example with the construction workers that I had, because by design I like to take risk, and I always kind of I take my chances. So for me, I took a chance, like living on the edge, right? And it worked
Yes.
out. So it's part of my journey to always be challenging myself and putting myself on this little bit of struggle kind of situation. And it always happens, and I'm used to it, and I'm glad I did it because it it defines many things in my life. That just shows how aligned I am with myself and with the qualities that I bring to this world. And there's a bigger plan that unfolding in front of us, like this universe, our reality. And if we surrender, then we have a fun ride. So that's when the magic happens. Oh, like things like, oh, it's magic. But it's actually very practical, and it's very, the mechanics of it is surrendering. But surrendering isn't easy because often we tend to resist to what's happening, and we impose our agendas, our mental agendas. I want this to happen. Or for example, I could resist to what's happening in my house now, and I could say, this is crazy, I cannot do it, I'm just going to cancel all the interviews, all the talks, all my lessons, and not work from home at all. But the choice is yours. So you either surrender or resist, and that's how you get to magic. And but it's a process. Getting there is a process, and that's why I like human design a lot, because it shows you exactly the things in your genetic code where you can possibly get off track or we kind of lost from this true unique trajectory where everything kind of clicks like boom boom, and
And
it
so,
shows the traps.
mhm. And can you like actually? I'm not sure that our audience knows what is human design. I know it because I had the privilege to have a session with you, and I
Yeah.
really recommend like our audience to take one because it's I I have many tools of self-awareness and I really like it, but I learned a lots of different things that was totally different from any other approaches to wellness that I had, and that's
Mhm.
human design. So can you explain to us what is human design and
Just
why
in
is
a
it useful?
Yes, just in a few words, because this is not the subject of our conversation today. So I'll just try to be kind of brief and very simple words, because I can talk about human design for weeks, maybe, or for months. Well, I want to be on topic. I don't want to get distracted. actually that's my awareness of myself, because I actually get easily distracted and I get sidetracked, and I can, I can overwhelm people mentally because my mental energy is very strong. This is where awareness comes in. Because I'm aware of this, I'm conscious and I pay attention. I'm focused on what I'm saying and what I'm doing. And that's why human design is important. This is just a practical example that can show you what it's all about. But if just to describe human design as a system, it's a scientific system. It's based on a few different sciences, for example, quantum mechanics and DNA genetics, then Kabbalah and the chakra system, and another few, just to name a few. And it just tells you how you're designed to be. But the biggest purpose with human design is it tells you how to trust your body. And if you trust your body, you fall in love with yourself, because our mind is constantly trying to get us confused, to get us lost, to to make us believe that it knows everything we need to do. And our mind doesn't know what we need to do. It's actually our inner authority, our inner voice comes from our shape, from our form, body. So it's about frequencies, it's about vibrations, and it's about auras. So each and every one of us has an aura. So we have this
Of
bubble
course.
that we're in. And for me, human design is about navigating your bubble through space. So you're in
Oh, I
imagine
love the
the
vision.
bubble. Yes, and you're like, I had this little thing here. My friend gave it to me in Minsk. Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Yes. So I think that's kind of the metaphor I have. So you're navigating your bubble through space. And if you surrender and if you are living your authentic self, then you are in the right place at the right time with the right people and with the right magic. It seems like magic, but it's not magic. It's very mechanical and nothing is personal in human design. So you can explain anything, any action, many things in your life with your genes. So
So
I will
human
leave that.
design can facilitate the magic too because it brings self-awareness.
Yes, yes. Yep.
Oh, that is brilliant. So why do you think that we can say that there is a mechanical process in magic?
Well, mechanical process, maybe this is the time I should bring up my magician's education. Is that a good time to bring it up?
I think it's fantastic that you bring that up, that I
Ah.
didn't know before I asked you. And I was like, of course, of course.
So I went to this school. It's called St. Petersburg Magician School, but they're not teaching, they're not teaching how to pull a rabbit out of the hat.
No rabbit,
Actually, I'm getting hot in this hat. Maybe I'll take it off now.
no problem.
Yeah, so they're not teaching those tricks, which I think the tricks are fascinating. I went to this in Vancouver. I went to the show of the guy who is showing, different things like with his hands and but no, they're not. So the course was mostly about rewiring your brain. So the way our mindset that we have and shaking our belief systems and ultimately shaking the reality we're living in. And there were lots of different things, like there were rituals, there were exercises, different like interacting with an angel. Like each and every one of the course was assigned an angel, and you were also an angel for somebody. So
Oh,
you were
that's very cute.
in 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, you've been learning to kind of to give grace and to receive grace. And it was one of the exercises, but they had so many exercises. Like it was quite intense, even though it was only 1 week that we would get together. They gave us lots of homework, lots of silly exercises to do, like a completely crazy exercises. So, like the popular one is for the money. Like if you want money, you need to put red panties on the lamp. And
What?
I prepared some nice panties. So this, and you have to say the mantra. Red panties on the lamp, money in the house.
Oh, me too.
So, and guys, whoever is listening to this podcast, please, you have to hurry because in Russia, this ritual doesn't work anymore because too many people has have been doing it. So in North America, I think it's still novelty. So if you do it fast enough, you're gonna have a lot of money very soon. Like trust me, it works. I think
Oh,
it's
yes. I
and
am sure there is some who will
and
try
especially
tonight.
and now we cannot invite that many guests in our house, so not too many strangers or friends can see what you have on your lamps, right? Not feeling embarrassed.
Yeah, but there's something that I have a bypass just by being French. I think if there's underwear in my place, oh, she's French, it's normal.
Oh, that's true. Yes, yes, yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, that makes
We
sense.
have that absolutely superpower by being like an expat. I think it's like, oh, it's a culture thing in Russia, that will be like, okay, fine. And so,
Wow, that's
yes.
nice. I
So
mean,
what is the mantra again?
the mantra is red panties on the lamp, money in the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you learn different like ritual
Yes.
and
So this course is based on two different modalities. There are two different books. There are two different kind of systems that some smart people have developed. One is called Cimarron. So Cimarron, there was a very famous book about playing silly things, like just like this, writing silly letters, but they're all meant to change your reality, to impact the way you're living, the way you're seeing the world, and kind of rewriting the story of your life, rewriting the story of who you
yes,
are. And then another modality is called transurfing, and transurfing is all about metaphysics. So it has a lot to do with different things about how universe works, and it's very complicated. It's like hours and hours of learning and listening to. I've been listening to transurfing audiobooks for years, and there's just so fascinating. And so in the end, there was so much magic during that course, that magician course. I couldn't believe it. Was like almost because what happens when you shake your reality, you step out of your comfort zone, and you find yourself in a completely new world, and things just click into place, like absolutely ridiculous and hilarious things. Like I remember I got like a couple of jobs there, money was coming into me, like I had so many opportunities, and then the right people were showing up out of nowhere. It was just magic, but it was not exactly magic because we were doing exercises almost every single day. we had to do we had to do lots actually. I was looking at my notes yesterday, and I realized, oh my God, that it was very intense. Like we had to smile all the time. We had to say yes. Like we had to choose one day when we would say yes to everything.
oh wow. Is
Yes.
there like one particular yes that was difficult for you?
Well, because it's been almost 8 years since then, I can't remember. I,
Mhm.
I really can't remember. There are probably, yes. Well, it depends on your day, right? Sometimes there's not much happening in your day. Sometimes there's a lot. But it was just one example of the exercise that we did, but we did lots of them. So what I'm saying is that playing with reality, this interaction and rewiring your brain, it's a practice. It's
Yes.
not, sitting and praying to God.
Yes, exactly. I think it's the it's actually a point that is quite important for me too, because I think there is like a confusion about magic and maybe even manifesting. It's like if you think that, okay, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna send those intention and I sit and I just do that and it comes. I don't think that's what is like really true. Being is very important, don't get me wrong, but you need to be at the center of the equation again, and you need to act. You really need to just um, continue to do your work, continue to put your energy in that because it's very important. You cannot kind of bypass that and expecting that, oh, like, I don't know, we come back to the money, but I want money and I ask for money. Yeah, but I still need to work for it. I will get help, and I need the movement. I need the action. I need to continue and to see what is unfolding. But if you don't put that sparkles of your own energy, nothing happens. It's like you can ask to have a life fulfilled, but if you don't do anything about it, except if you wanted to be a monk in like even a monk, it is doing a lot. So
Yes,
like,
that's true. Because
doing a
they need
lot.
to source their food, right?
Yes, they need to go. They have like so many rules, and they need to meditate, and all of that requires action. So
Mhm.
nobody can just, I think, maybe a few rare exceptions that I'm not aware of, but the magics come with you. And
Yes.
it's like playing, playing with like maybe the mechanism of the universe, maybe. And but it's also like knowing yourself and taking the step to self-awareness and unfolding all those mysteries inside of you and external mysteries too. But you are the one who are like doing that. You cannot remove that from the equation. It's not like an excuse to be like completely lazy and stay in bed.
Yes.
It's nice sometimes to do that, but if you want to have like your dream realized, except if your dream was to stay in bed and watch Netflix, which is okay, well, then you have to move. And so, but it's something that I wanted to really share. So don't remove yourself from the equation, even with
I think
magic.
it's great to hear this coming from you because you're the kind of person who always takes action, the right action, the aware action. I think
Oh,
that's
thank
that's
you.
just. But thinking about this, action or and just believing and waiting, this anecdote comes to mind, and I think it's very famous. That anecdote, how a man was praying to gods and waiting for some money to come to him. Like he was praying, "Oh God, please give me some money because I need to sustain myself." And he didn't get anything. He didn't get any money, and he died. And then he asked God in when he was dead, he asked God, "Why didn't you give me anything?" And the God told him, "Oh, but you didn't get up of your sofa. I At least you could have bought a lottery ticket. You didn't do anything. You didn't even buy a lottery ticket. So how did you expect the money to come into you?"
Exactly.
So
It's
that's
exactly that. Yes.
yeah.
I didn't know that
No, I
story,
didn't
but
know. I've
no,
heard
I didn't.
I've
But
heard it
it's
a long time ago, but I always remember this about being passive, too passive.
yeah, it's very important that you keep moving. Movement is important.
And buy that
So
bloody lottery ticket for a change.
yes, I never bought a lottery ticket, but
I think
so
I think panties, red panties is a bit a more beautiful tool to play with than buying a lottery ticket, supporting somebody with the money, right? Buy
totally
some red
agree.
panties or make them yourself.
Yes, but I absolutely like love that because it's
Yeah.
it's completely silly.
Yes, it is.
But
Yes.
but when you think about it, like it's those silliness that really expand your reality.
Yes.
It's
Mhm.
it because if you do the same thing all the time, and we know we need to do that this way, that way, and there's
Yeah.
nothing more than like poof, like expand in your life. So I think it's really important to be silly, non-serious, and try different way, even if it looks like ridiculous. And it's very important. I think as a kid we have that, and we are like so much magical, and because we are not like trained, we didn't like try the same pathway for so many times that it's so paved with little flower, and it's all like, yes, I know that very well. And we don't go into like the bush with a machete to try a new way. Well, Kitty has no paved way. So, and it's a good reminder, even with silly and especially laughing, that actually you can try anything else and you're not gonna cease to exist, you know. It's quite the opposite. You're gonna just like laugh and find another flavor in life. So I really like your example. It's very good.
That's that's actually, you just told one of the rules that we had on this magician's course. One
Ah,
of the, yes, one
what
of
are
the
the rules?
well, it just says that if you're in a rut, if you're, like every day the same thing is happening, if you're in a rut, there is no place for creativity.
Oh, that's very
So
true.
you have to step outside of your comfort zone, step outside of what you're used to. And actually, there was one day where pick one day where you do everything backwards. For example, you get up and you crawl out of your bed. Like, you don't just get up, you crawl out of your bed. Then maybe you go in an elevator and you sit down in the elevator and you just sit in it. Then you go backwards, like, maybe you're eating with the left hand, you go backwards, like you're not moving forward like this, you're moving backwards. And I did this I had steps outside of my place in Bayshores last year, and I always took those steps going backwards, like, very slowly and carefully, just,
Yeah,
you
of
don't
course.
fall down. But I did it, and it's fascinating. It kind of, your mind is like, what the heck's happening? I'm already scared. And that's when it's good, when it's scared, and when you get a little bit self-conscious. Oh, what are those people are going to tell me about you? It kind of gives you some insights about your personality, about your the way you feel about yourself. And again, kids, they don't feel ashamed, or they don't feel bad about the weird things they're doing, like the silly things. It's only adults that we have it in our head, like we start to think, oh, what, they're going to judge me, and we judge ourselves, and that is the wrong path, right?
I yes, it's like the most common one, but uh, it's a little bit like mm, too bad. Of course, it's naive too. Or like we cannot change and be like all crazy. Oh well, yes, I would love that,
Yes.
but and that's what I really like love spending time with you, because like we just don't care much about what other people think. So so we just like it's almost like you have so many space and possibilities, like because sometimes your persona, I'm tired of being Fred. Sometimes I want to be somebody else and experience new things and having almost new life. If I could jump into another people and see what it feels to be Yulia, for example, I would love that and experience and say, oh, that's nice, and just witness other thing. So when I am like silly, laughing and trying new thing, it's almost if I like get out of my own body and but mine too, and expand, and it's spacious and it's full of opportunities, and I feel like it's very alive again and enjoyable. So I think that's what I feel with magic too. It's just like cutting a little bit of that serious constraint thing and
Yes.
just let it open and see what's happening. So if you have like a person that comes to you and say, Yulia, a client, for example, for Human Design, I saw that you are a certified magician and I want to bring.
I don't advertising. I don't
I know.
advertise. This
Well,
is
you
all
should.
me.
You
I
should
know.
totally do that to magic workshop, and I will be like your first customer for sure. And so,
Hey, let's say if 10 people are interested in the next couple of months, I'm setting it up. I'm gonna
okay.
take the
Oh,
program from those people in St. Petersburg, and I'll
oh yes,
launch it.
yes, I will
Yes.
be so fantastic. And so I know some people who will be interested, so I will help you.
Really?
And
Great.
yeah,
Awesome.
so like that client will arrive and say like, I feel that my life is tiny, shrinking, and also like I have no idea of the concept of magic. So what advice would you give to them? What would to bring magic in their life? And so what will be the first step to take today for somebody who wants
Mhm.
to have magic in his life?
Yes, good question. Very good question, because there are so many different tools, and a couple of them we already talked about it, from from that magician's course, and anybody can do it. Like, take one day and you say yes to everything. It's an experiment. It's a
Yes.
game, right? Because you, in a way, it's a game, but you're serious about this game. You know the rules, and you still go. It's almost like you're putting on a hat and you're becoming somebody else, right? Like you're playing this game. Then another one I already mentioned is that you take one day and you do things differently. If, for example, you go to your office the same route, right? You take a different route, or maybe you shake hands. Well, now nobody shakes hands, right? But we're actually doing magical exercises right now. We're doing this. Like, we're used to
Yes,
shaking hands, now we're
elbow
doing
check.
this. I think it's part of the magic that's happening right now, because people are learning. People are forced to learn new habits and to see the world differently. We're all part of this magic unfolding. but but this exercise, we're doing things, just challenge yourself to walk downstairs backwards every day, and just find the steps. Maybe you find those steps and you meet a man of your dream there, or something. Like, people want to meet their soulmates. And and that's actually, when you expand your horizons and step out of your comfort zone, you meet the right opportunities in your life: people, work, money, businesses, whatever. It all happens on this gap between, like, being serious and being normal, and this absolute madness. So it's somewhere in between is the perfect situation for you. So let me give you another good exercises, because I thought about it and I found a couple of good exercises. Well, the before I forgot, the one exercise and the one practice that's really good for bringing magic, it's gratitude.
Yes.
And you guys, if you notice, what do I have on my hat here? What does it say?
Merci. Oh yes. Oh,
There you
merci. Yes,
go. Yeah. So it's here, but
that's
it's there's a
perfect.
reason why I put it in here. So we did this wonderful talk with Fred a few weeks ago about gratitude, and we talked a
Yes.
lot. And I think there are practical good tips about being grateful. And the exercise that I taught to do to everybody is just wake up and name 5 things you're grateful for in your life. And it can be anything. It can be sunshine outside, it can be your partner sleeping by, or it can be something crazy, like maybe somebody gave you a random flower yesterday. It can be anything. So then
Mhm.
another exercise we were doing on this course, very simple. It's it's the presence and being in the now kind of exercise, awareness that you are now, not, it kind of breaks that mental pattern that you have. It's asking, what brings you joy right now?
Hmm.
And actually, why don't we practice with this, Fred? What brings you joy
Ah,
right now?
um, that that brings me joy right now. I
Oh,
have
yeah.
like it's uh, it's Kanako. It's a friend of mine,
Hmm.
and she took care of my cat when I'm away,
Yeah.
and she gave me that beautiful like bouquet of we call that hortensia in French, but I don't know in English. And and I don't know, like every time I saw them, I don't think I had those flowers in my garden as a kid, and it was so beautiful because she gave me a service by taking care of my cat. She loved my cat. She's a little
I
bit like
know.
you. She's in love of my cat. And so she doesn't want to be paid. She doesn't no, she it's almost like she will pay me to take care of sashimi.
Oh,
So
that's
and
amazing. What a good
yes,
deal.
yes, that's a very good deal. And sashimi is very happy with her. But in I think like it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, so it brings something in me because I like to see it in my place. But it's just the fact that also normally I would be the one to give the flower to her to say thank you. But on top of being like super nice,
Yes.
accommodating, and a great friend, she gave me those flowers. So for me, it was so like unexpected. Like it was so beautiful and like out of what I thought it would be. So that's what I think will be like the one that pops up in my mind right away.
Sounds like magic.
Yes.
Sounds
What
like
about
magic.
you? What brings you joy
Well,
right now?
number one thing that brings me joy is, again, just like magic, the construction workers are not working now.
Yes, that's so crazy. I was like, yeah,
I
because I
know.
need to say we were like chatting and say like, oh well, we will see what happened with the construction,
Exactly.
and
Yes.
it's so quiet.
What happened? Yes. And it's quiet because yesterday they started at 7:15, I think, like very early, and it's already 8, no, not 7:15, 8:15 or 8ish. So it's already 8:45. They're not here. So I'm fascinated. I'm just fascinated. And so this also, talking to you brings me joy. And especially, I was honored that Peter showed me your cat.
Ah, I wait because I was like, wait a second.
So I
I
was
kn-
so excited as soon as I saw this bird,
I
this
knew
ball of
how to
fur.
bring like joy to
You're so
Yulia.
cute. Oh, this cat. My mind immediately shuts down, and I become like this. I become the creature of love when I see
Yes.
this cat. Yes.
Yes, I was like when Peter showed you the cat this morning, I was about, no, don't do that. I want to see Yulia getting like crazy and say Kotia live.
Kocha, Kocha. Yes,
Oh,
he's
yes.
my little Kocha, so cute. So he brings me joy for sure. So this is a simple exercise that I wanted to share with you guys. What brings you joy right now? So you have to say it at least 10 times a day because our mind tends to take things for granted. Like we start to take things for granted and we devalue things that are happening to us. But when you talk about what brings you joy right now, your universe, your reality is going to bring you joy a lot. Like you'll be constantly receiving some kind of joy. And I can share another exercise if we have time, but
Yes, we do.
yes. Okay, another exercise is a bit, it's a bit more complex. This one was easy. So this exercise, it's called turning any situation, negative situation, into a positive experience. So for example, please remember a situation when the circumstances seemed against you, like things were going crazy. Like you felt like, oh, I'm in hot water, like something's going bad. And while you're thinking about it, I'm going to give you my example because it's always easier with examples. So for example, we were supposed to fly to Spain in end of March, and we wanted to settle there, to move, and we were ready. We had no place to live, like we were downsizing and giving up all the stuff, and the pandemic happened, and we, well, I don't want to say stuck again.
Yes, the same.
That's
No.
another, but yes, but we had to stay here, and
Yes.
just by magic we found the best place we've ever lived. Like I've never lived in a better place in my life. It's so beautiful, it's close to the village, and it's spacious, it's got everything I need. So inspiring. I started doing kombucha. I've never made kombucha before, and I started doing kombucha. I've grown my basil for the first time in my life, just inspired to do things like this. And then what else did I do? Well, I found the hiking body, so I'm hiking almost every day.
Oh,
We
nice.
yes, we escaped the lockdown because in Spain it was very bad.
It
Like the
was very
pandemic
bad.
was.
Yes.
So we escaped it. So basically, we've been living our best month here just because one bad thing happened. See what I mean?
Yes.
So you don't have to go this crazy. Like you don't have to write like 5, 10 reasons why it turned out good. And oh, another thing that was good here is that I finished downsizing. Like I downsized we had a lot of stuff left in the storage, so I finished that.
Yeah.
If I flew away, I wouldn't have time. And then I also bought a lot of beautiful things on Whistler Buy and Sell, the local group, the local fit. So for example, I bought Lululemon pants for like $20.
Ooh, that's
Amazing
pretty
pants.
cool.
Yes, and I bought a beautiful purse and a watch. I was actually going to show you, but I forgot. It's upstairs. So I bought a beautiful watch on eclipse day, and the watch actually looks like the moon. Like it's very beautiful. It
Oh,
was the
wow.
lunar eclipse, I think, or something happening with the moon. Anyway, so it all happened because something went wrong.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is what you gotta do every time something goes wrong. This is what you gotta do. You gotta find the reason. If you can't find the reason, you gotta make it up.
Oh, I like that. Make it up.
Yeah,
Yes.
just make it up.
Yeah, I think it's such a superpower. Um, we're right at the last part of our talk, and it's about the co-living and travel, because you know that the main, a little bit like you, we wanted to just to open a co-living, and Spain was a big,
Yes.
big, big possibility actually with Benedict. And yes, the pandemic happened, and so, well, just like you, we would have never done this interview if it was like going well. We decided, so okay, we cannot do anything. What do we do instead? And we
Mhm.
decided to do those live panels. And I heard by some friend that actually they are useful. Like I saw that I've got friends telling me like, oh, I'm applying the gratitude practice and it's pretty cool. And so, and none of that would have happened if it would have go with plan A. So but for the travel, I found that myself that the most of my magic happen when I travel. And I would like to know if for you it's the same, and why do you think it's the case?
Yes. Okay. So what's the mechanics of traveling? First of all, and I mentioned a few times already today, you step out of your comfort zone.
Hmm.
You cannot travel and not step out of your comfort zone. I mean, when you are when you buy a package, like you're in a hotel, that's little, that's little expansion on your comfort zone because you're still kind of inside this hotel. But every time you're traveling, like I know you like to travel solo and you like to travel places unexplored, off the beaten path. So
Yes, I do.
yeah, and I think this, like, it's healthy traveling, right? That's what people like. I mean, if you have a family and if you have kids, that people would prefer maybe packages like those, a hotel in Mexico. But otherwise, traveling is definitely stepping out of your comfort zone. You are vulnerable to what the universe is bringing you. Like you're more kind of open to whatever it is, and you see things differently. And seeing things differently than the way you usually see them, again, getting out of that rut is what helps your brain to react to different things differently, and that's what brings magic. And also um, there's just so much happening when you're traveling. It's just like sometimes things just like you feel like things are thrown at you, and it's just there's a lot, right, when it comes to travel. And that's why travel is a great environment to kind of shake your universe, shake your reality. It's almost like an exercise, right? You want to shake your
Yes.
reality, just go travel,
Hmm.
even if it's not far away, even if it's somewhere close by. And you travel and you don't come back the same.
It
So
is
things are
really
changing.
true.
And that's
Yeah.
why traveling brings a lot of inspiration. But but again, when you're playing with the universe, you don't have to go anywhere. You can travel at home. Like for example, my friends magicians who organize that course in St. Petersburg, they travel every day for their breakfast. They dress up, for example, they put Mexican hats, like Mexican outfits, and yes, they cook something Mexican, and they put on Mexican music and some, they look up a couple of Mexican words like Spanish something, and they use it, like they embody the situation, they embody the traveling kind of environment, and they enjoy it. And I remember I was just seeing it on social media. I don't really keep in touch with them, but they put up those photos, and I'm fascinated. Like one day they're in France, then they're in Africa, they're in in like all different countries. Like they're in
Oh,
England.
you really need to share those, like the link to them, because I want to meet them. I so want to meet them
Oh,
and have
they're
breakfast with
amazing.
them.
I know. I want to meet them too. They only speak Russian, but these people are
It's okay,
fascinating.
we'll go with you.
Maybe I'll have to offer to teach them some English or something. I don't know. We have to make business together.
Yes, yes, I so want. I can like totally visualize them. I so want to go with them. I am maybe talking a little bit for Benedict, but I'm sure Benedict will come with us and just like have
Oh, for
breakfast
sure.
with different one. And I'm not afraid of people who actually don't speak my language at all because I kind of like that. I practice at a very young age to be with people who doesn't speak my language, and it was just fine. You have like intention beyond the word
Yes.
and energy, so you can actually understand a lot. And even in Thailand, where I used to live, I will go like in countryside in Thai family that never speak a word of English,
Mhm.
and I was just fine. You can like you listen, you look at people faces and body posture, and you learn so much. But I so want to have breakfast with your friend and see the pictures of them with their like Mexican hat, or like I really wonder how it looks like to have like a French breakfast.
Exactly.
And
But
yes,
we can do it on our own too. I mean, you're probably not going to Russia anytime soon, but
no,
we I know it's kind of hard. I know nobody probably can fly to Russia right now anyway, and
no.
uh, so we can make it happen here.
Yes, I think we should like totally have like a country that we decide and take a picture of like having a Zoom breakfast together and just
Exactly, exactly. See, now we're talking. Don't
that's
forget
gonna be great.
kombucha. I have all this kombucha, like magical
Oh.
drinks. Making
Yeah,
you
oh,
can
I
make
love
wishes.
kombucha so much. I love it so much. So with maybe like a Spanish breakfast would be good.
Yes, Spanish breakfast with tortilla. I think that's what the
Yes.
traditional
Yeah.
Spanish tortilla, potatoes and
Tortilla.
eggs.
Yes. Oh, that sounds lovely. And for our last question, so you know that we wanted to open that co-living, and we want to open that co-living when the
Yeah,
situation will settle down, the same way that you want to go to Spain. And so I and we decided to do that co-living dedicated to wellness practitioner, just like you. I would like to know if you visualize that wellness co-living, what do you think that needs to be there? What is like a feature or something, services that will bring magic to people and like will just bring that sparkling energy?
I don't know. It's probably I'm gonna answer, but it's probably not what you expect. But I just want to see a hammock there.
No, I love hammock.
Yes, and that's what I visualize, like a hammock, and people are just relaxing and making wishes. But if on a conceptual, practical level, I would like to see all sorts of different classes, like body, especially body related, like maybe yoga, meditations, some kind of body oriented therapy, massage. I'm very into massage right now because I bought a massage table, and I
Amazing.
picked up. Yes, I work as a masseuse now, 2 days a week.
Yeah.
So it kind of came to me. So again, this place is just so inspiring that when you are at the right place, the right things are happening. It's hard to explain, but it just seems to be this flow. Like, if you're in the right place, if you're living your authentic self, you're aligned with your true nature, just think the right things are finding you. Like, you don't need to find them as much. You kind of just have to react. Okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do, and I'm doing it, right? But you're
Yes.
not working too hard on trying to figure out what you need to do next, right? And I
Yes.
think that's very powerful message. And I think that's what you should create in your co-living environment, just people feeling we're at the right place because we're doing the things that are really resonating with us.
I think it's a great exercise. And I can see the hammock, and there will be definitely a place to dance. That is
Exactly.
definitely a place to
That's
dance
number
because
one thing. I think we should make it like a non-stop, a room, a small little room for non-stop dancing all day, all night.
yes,
And
yes,
people
I
just
think
pop in and out. Okay, I need to get my fix. Okay, what's my fix? Like 5 minute dancing. It's
Oh
always
là là.
going. The music's
Yes,
going.
totally. So I think that it's like I can feel Benedict like far away saying like yes. She's a big
Hi,
dancer too.
Benedict.
Hi, Bene. And so I think that our time is up. It's
Yes,
9:00. My watch just like buzzed me. It's time to move, lady.
yes.
Yes. Whoa, little heart.
So, Fred, very, very
Thank
important
you.
moment. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, what have we gotten here? Ooh. Doo-doo.
Oh, nice. A lynch rabbit. Of course, it was not a white rabbit, but a golden one.
He was not alone there. Ta-da.
What is? Oh, a
This is the
mouse, but that's you.
yes, that's kind of me. So
That's
say, I hope
totally you.
Sashimi didn't get too excited. And
No,
no,
he's snoring.
oh, that's just cat's magic, right? They can afford to snore all day long. But
Yeah, he can
yeah, we
sleep all
got
the
a
time.
rabbit.
Thank you so much for being with me, and like it was so much fun, and I feel like my lots of magic for the days that to come, and I think that my neighbors is gonna see me taking this test on like backward. I'm gonna totally try.
Excellent. Yes, and when you're doing all that, don't forget to make wishes. And I would invite everybody who is
Oh,
watching us right now, make a wish. Set this intention, something nice.
yes, yes,
So,
like wishes.
thank you for
Okay.
having me. It was my
Oh,
pleasure.
thank you, Yulia. See you next time for the breakfast, Spanish breakfast.
Cool. Bye, man.
Bye, Yulia.